and that is all about a post that was made as a meme on the Vault Facebook group and a few other ones. And it's an interesting debate that sparks from there. So I want to take a moment. We're gonna read through it, and yeah, if you guys have any feedback on that, let me know. Let me just adjust the title of this live stream for a second, so we have that all sorted as well. But it's a really interesting topic, and there's a lot of feedback from Team Vader's Vault in that whole conversation. And the reason why I wanted to delve a bit more into it is that it just shows a bit of how strong competition is in the space of making these custom lightsabers, and it's a very interesting thing to see how competitive people are, how defensive they can be if it comes to certain things, like who made what first, or who's a team player, who's not. And it shows like it shows the side of lightsaber collecting that you might be interested in it. So give me a second. Let me fix the fix the video for a second, if I can do it. Oh, it's here. Sorry, guys. I'm messing up here now. But please feel free to join this conversation. This is on the spur video. I will do this a lot more going forward. But this type of video is interesting because we just have to discuss this kind of stuff. I don't know how to do this. Why I can't do this? Let me see. How can I fix that? Here we go. Sorry, it's we're live. This is the one. Yeah, this is the one I need. Okay. Come on. How I change the title? Sorry, guys, if you watch this offline, skip a few minutes. I just want to get this fixed. Oh, come on. How to do this? Excuse me, holding a laptop in my lap and coughing and making all shaky. Here we go. Let's discuss Saber Smith, Saber Company competition. Okay, so my family just come back. I'm gonna take it upstairs for a moment. They're gonna get the groceries in. We take the stairs. Yeah, later. And we're up. So, sorry about that. Taking a second pair of stairs. That's the nice thing about having a mobile setup, and that's why I really want to have this laptop, is I can sit and do whatever I want. This is my old room, by the way. A lot of skate stuff here. So anyway, we're gonna update the thing. So here we go. We're gonna get into the nitty gritty of that stuff now. So let me change the screen. Here we go. This is the post made in the vault by RGV Sabers, and he's a sabersmith, and he's a good guy. Make a lot of YouTube videos helping people. So this is what he posted. Whole community be like, this is a joke, peeps. You're all getting worked up. The CFX had a new Plectrolab soundboard. The Saber community looking, and then the Profi board looking like in awe. And yeah. Can you? Yes, thank you. Even here in Holland, he's still doing it. Anyway, thanks, bro. You turn on the line for me. So, of course, this is a meme, but it definitely did trigger a lot of people. Like, it did trigger a lot of people. As you can see, 232 comments. That's why I make this video. Because I was like, what the hell did go on here? Why are there so many comments here? What happened? And Ace did I'm doing good. How are you doing? It's probably very late now for you. It's now roughly 10 a.m. in the morning for me. But hope you're doing good. Let me open the comments. Are there comments? Oh no, what happened there? Did they? It says 232 comments here. Okay, so let me search the comments that I want to go through, and I want to get a bit feedback from you guys. Like, how do you think? Yeah, how do you perceive those comments, and what do you feel about it? 4 p.m. Oh, nice. Let me see. Where's that comment? There was a whole. I don't know if it's deleted or no. It's somewhere here. Give me a second, guys. I'm finding that comments part here. Gosh, it's so hard to find. There's so many comments anyway. Where is it? And there's definitely something that we need to talk about. Give me a second. Um, is it this one? No, it's not this one. There's one comment section between Dimitri Stock and oh yeah, here we go. So this is a comment made by Dimitri Stock. He makes all kinds of electronics, etc. He's definitely a pioneer. He definitely comes up with a lot of high end stuff. So law, it's like that with any new soundboard. Same was last year with Profitboard and CFS version 9, the Crystal Focus 9, and then with 52 comments, and that's mainly between Dimitri and the Vader's Fall team, the owners of Vader's Fall, Deanna and Alan. And then you can see a bit like how competitive this whole industry actually is. Like, it's really interesting to see like how defensive people get if it comes to new products, etc. And that really gives an indication why there's so much division between different groups like Facebook groups and the intentions and the agendas of different people. Now, I'm not bashing on Vader's Vault at all. I just want to showcase that it's an industry where people have different interests. They all have different interests, and some people, of course, they all want the main goal for them is to make money, right? They want to make a living out of making custom sabers, and if can, ideally they want to be the only one that makes them, and everything is claimed for themselves. And now, of course, this is an opinion, so I'm just gonna go through it, and I want to know from you guys what you feel about it. But we go read it now. So we have a person that's who's still on top. Any new soundboard is better in something. That's how progression works. So progression, this is like a key factor. Progression, right? So let's say I design this. I don't know. It's for my brother. I designed this gun to put silicon on stuff, and you see my design and say, wow, I see a lot of improvements there that can be made. Or I see, hey, that's a cool product, I'm gonna make that too. So you design your own gun, etc., but you make it electronic, so it's you don't need to squeeze it, and or something in that line. And people will jump on it, right? Everything, every market, everything in the world, people will try to capitalize on somebody else's ideas or designs and whatnot. Unfortunately, that's just the case. That's even myself. I make YouTube videos because YouTube is there and other YouTubers making videos, and I saw that and I liked that, so I also started doing that. Okay, that's on its own already a thing. So and then we go a bit lower, and here's the what is already normal on other boards. This is Alan from Vader's Vault. He's the owner. Nobody that has said these kind of things has come in with any great innovation that someone came out with. A lot of people that say these kind of things tend to attribute to the last decade of work by someone else to an open source community. That's just not the case. Okay, so I think one thing that I need to tell you guys. So Vader's Vault and Earth Plector have a very tight relationship from the early days on. They have developed RGB apparently, color changing for soundboards, and other features, and they have a very tight trust relationship between each other. They're like tightly knitted, so they're very protective for Plector Labs and vice versa. Um, da, 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 da. And then Harris made an interesting comment. I think you're saying that open source people have come up with the features that Profi boards have these days. That's not exactly the case. No, but they've absolutely pioneered smooth swing, use of NeoPixel and animated blade effects. Users have only made them better. You can't get anything close with an C Crystal Focus LS or an CF9. CFX has features that are similar but not exactly the same. So yeah, that's what I when I watched that video, I thought, okay, cool. The Profi board have all this stuff as well already. It's just the CFX is being catched up with the latest and greatest in the open source soundboard environment, right? It's not all new stuff that we don't see in the Profi boards or any other soundboards. It's all stuff that we already have seen on NAC boards or Profi boards. Now, that to say that does not mean that I say it's copied. I just say they just added the features that we already seen now in the open source soundboards. And then I came back to Dimitri Stock's original point where he said that's how progression works. Yeah, so people just make an evolution of an existing soundboard. They work on top of that. So they look at the Plector Lab soundboard and maybe the NAC soundboard, and they worked on top of that to come up with new features and functionalities. Okay, those were not originally on, let's say, the Plector Lab soundboards. So then in that sense, yeah, they came out, the Profi board, etc., the open source stuff came out first with those new features because we didn't have smooth swing before. At least that's where we get into it. Harris said smooth swing was pioneered by Brett Harper in 2010. He was part of the open source community, yes. Texter came up with his algorithm, which he gifted to the open source community, and that is what ended up being used as an ignition to his newer drive for this type of swings. And he definitely deserved recognition for that. So it's a Texter. That's probably an internet nickname. The person that basically came with the the coding for smooth swing. NeoPixels. Vader's Vault was the first company to put NeoPixel on production hills using the Plector CS, and we have been testing and developed them for a few years, so that was in no way open source driven, although open source folks were looking at them concurrently. Yeah, so it's if you read into the lines, Vaders will basically say, hey, we were the first one as a production company come with the NeoPixel. um but I always feel like with Vader's Vault, they always had the idea first. Like they already had the idea. That's always a little bit what Deanna and Alan see. What I always see in the comments, like, oh, we already had that idea 3 years ago, but there's nothing tangible on the table. There's no actual like show us some prototypes with pictures of 2012, 15 or something. Like you actually were working on it. I mean, I have ideas constantly. Like I have an idea now, and then over 10 years later, I can say, oh yeah, I had that idea already 10 years ago. Yeah, that's not really how it works. An idea is not something that's in. It's not. It's there's nothing. It's just an idea. It's just something that you come up with, an idea. So I don't think you can really claim an idea. Of course, in this case, they say that we're working on it concurrently. That can be true, but it still means that there's somewhere down the line, there was one person that installed NeoPixel as the first person into lightsabers, and it's probably not. It probably I would say it's probably not Vader's fault, or it might be somebody of the open source, and with no intention to resell it or something, just as a homemade project for him or herself. And from that on, um, a lot of people got into it. Hey Jim, can you get the hell out of here, please? It's annoying. I tried to escape from him, but yeah, let's go. So again, I don't know. We can't say it, right? We can't say who was earlier, but that also shows a bit like the whole intellectual property of ideas, etc. It's such a gray area. We can't have a clear proof who did it first. In that case, we need dates. We need proof that actually somebody made it first. And in this case, with Smooth Swing, we actually have proof. We have the trails of on forums. We have all kinds of information from these people mentioned earlier that actually came up with Smooth Swing. So, and if it read it like this, if Brad Harper was pioneering it and Texter came up with an algorithm. I don't know if Texter is a company, but if he had gifted to the open source community, he was already probably part of the open source community in the first place. So then, can it be considered an open source? Smooth Swing can be considered open source, or is that not the case? So I leave that to you guys. Can you move? Yeah, go away. No, it's for Yuri. Then we go down. So Vaderful say, well, with your first production company to come up with the NeoPixel sabers, I would say, yeah, probably they were the first to put it on the market because I can't say that, but I'm 100% sure other saber companies working on NeoPixel as well at the same time. They just were the first to release it after testing. It doesn't mean that they can um, they're the sole only Saber company that were working on bringing NeoPixel to the market. It's just other Saber companies who are still working out Kings or whatever. So I think that that's also something to say. But yeah, they might be. That's something that can be proven. Of course, you can research that if Vader's World indeed was the first one to release the NeoPixel lightsabers or not to the market as a production saber. I don't doubt that. Um, and then we go a bit, but I'm gonna go through this, guys. I think this is a really interesting topic, and so because I don't know if these kind of topics stay on the internet. Sometimes they get deleted, sometimes they just disappear over the years. But it also gives insight and history about these kind of products made by who and who was the first. And we try to preserve that so we know actually who actually came with Smooth Swing, etc. Um, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's been tested by Vader's Vault for years. There was certainly not that was certainly not their arena, and really no one was doing much with them until we blew open the doors. So this is what I said with the competition. It's a very fierce competition between these saber companies. I have no doubt in my mind that other saber companies or saber smiths were working to come up with NeoPixel lightsabers already, bring it to the market. It just didn't have the label as production hills because there were not multiple of the same hilt with the NeoPixel setup. Dude, move. Now, move. Go down. Go down. Yeah, no BBs. Sorry. I have to get him. He's walking in his underwear here. What the freak? Whatever. Anyway, getting back to my thing that I'm trying to convey here. Um, and now they're everywhere. Now they're everywhere. Okay, so Vader's Vault say, "Hey, we were the first. We came up with production. We didn't come up with the idea, but we put it first in production, and now they're everywhere, and that's because of us." Well, I don't think that's true because the open source community was working on it as well. As you say, in parallel, they already make their own lightsabers, so it's not everywhere because of Vader's Vault only. That's definitely not the case. So that is a little bit with the competition and how fierce they are. These companies in between to claim all these kind of things. Now they definitely have a rightful claim towards the first production NeoPixel lightsabers, but I'm not entirely sure if they're the sole purpose and reason of now having NeoPixel everywhere. But I definitely think they have had a good influence for other saber companies that maybe did not work on it yet at that time or did not come out it with a production that they saw the production version of Vader's World and jumped on it. But if they were everywhere, I would definitely also say Saber Forts and Ultra Sabers would be on them by now, but they're not. They're clearly not. So It's not everywhere. And if you talk about everywhere, then you also have to talk about your big competitors. And Saberforge and Ultra Sabers are the biggest one, and they don't do it. So, um, yeah, at least not now, right? They can come out anytime. And sure, an end user can add anything they want. This is a blessing and a curse because it often means crap code is added rather than the code developed by a professional. Okay, so a code developed by a professional versus a code developed by somebody of the open source community or an individual person. So that's already the stance of Vader's Vault. They're very defensive towards Plecter Labs. They want to protect Eric Plecter and his work, and basically, I don't think they're super happy with the open source soundboards. I did see some negative feedback about open source soundboards in general from Vader's Vault, and that's probably their findings or their personal opinions, and this is fine. But yeah, I have a feeling that they're not super stoked on open source in general. So open source is great. I don't think that's a fully. I don't think this is a. I think this is a double-edged knife. This answer. I don't think this is the full feeling they have about open source. To be honest, I don't think they really feel open source is great. Anyone can contribute. Anyone can play around with it, and I find it very appealing myself. But it's poetic and unrefined. Fun for a group of people who like a chance to compute something, and adding their own things is a great option. So she sees it as a playground for kids to play with, basically, and it's not really professional. That's a little bit what I take out of it. Now, I'm not bashing. I read it in my mind, right? So I have my own opinions ready, etc. So if I'm wrong, you guys in the chat, just tell me off, tell me, hey, dude, you're wrong. I'm listening to you guys. I'm always learning from feedback from you guys. Production boards are more refined, user friendly, more easy to utilize with a variety of end users, from a higher technical person to the completed technology in depth. Yeah, so there's only Plecter Labs, NAC neckboards, and what else we got? I think that's about it. Um, and then a few smaller players, but I don't think Vader's Vault also consider them very highly. And they have a very strict, strong relationship with Plecter Lab. So I think reading through the lines, I would say I think they refer to Plecter Labs mainly. But because I say that because they don't carry any neck soundboards, because that's a competition of Plecter Labs, and they have already a relationship with um, uh, Earth, basically. All people can enjoy it. It's also consistency of production. All Plecter boards are consistently and professionally produced. Open source boards can be produced by whoever with all sorts of variances of quality, and they're not quality but availability. We've seen recently trustworthiness. Oh, we have people here. Hey, what the fuck, you dude? Get the hell out of here. Sorry about that. So yeah, they basically say, hey, you need to go for production hills because that is better. And then I would say, oh, so you think Ultra Sabers and Saberforts are better because they're production companies and they make production boards? And then no, that's also not the answer, right? Then that's also not true. So basically saying, oh, our products are the best. So Vader's Vault and Plecter Labs. So if I read through the lines, right, I'm reading through the lines. That is how I interpret this a bit. And I mean, chest pounding, that's fine. They do really good stuff at Vader's Vault and Plecter Labs. So I'm not gonna have any negative on that at all. On a Plecter product, when someone wants something added, they need to make a suggestion and it gets added. Well, it gets added. Yeah, it gets added with every new board revision. And I heard a lot of stories where people were emailing Earth from Plecter Labs with no answer. Earth is not really of communication so much at times. So I don't think this is on the fly added. And with open source, it's actually added. People add it to the board. You download the new firmware, and you have these features if it doesn't require physical changes to the board for different chipsets and whatnot. So I wouldn't say it's the same way of adding stuff that people request. But I understand what she means. But rest assured that code being handled by the same professional that developed anything else for a seamless solid result. Now Plector Labs definitely gives you a solid result and seamless solid results, very good menus, very well designed, etc. So nothing against that. And then tested by a beta group of seasoned smiths and developers who have been involved in the community since the very beginning. And that's again, they talk about themselves. And those updates now can be added easily by the end users themselves. Okay. I don't know how what she means with that. Is that like you can now update firmware very easy? Not sure what's being referred to. Maybe you guys can correct me on this. So well, both options, open source and production, have their place. There's really no need to put down one over the other. They're not really in competition for the same use. So wait, so she contradicts herself in my personal opinion. Open source and production have their place, but really no need to put down one over the other. But she just gives negative points about the Profi board or the open source board, which is basically the Profi board now, right? Come on. We need this comment laminated and framed. Okay. Dimitri is Dimitri likes he likes to have conversations, so he's like discussions. So he's like NeoPixel strips were first used in the sabers with the 13C saber before Profiboard soundboards made by Frederick way before Plactor Labs implemented NeoPixel support, which is true. I've seen that. I've seen Plactor Labs added NeoPixel support after it was already done by other people. And then of course it's the open source versus production, and because it's production, that is all that matters for Vader's Vault and other Saber companies, because that is their bread and butter, right? They make money with that. So from their perspective, it doesn't matter if it was open source. We do it first now as a production thing, and that's why we own the claimant of being the first, and that's why everybody uses now. Okay. So that's how I read the lines, right? If somebody jumps on, hey, say, give me feedback, guys. I say, no, you're incorrect, dude. You're reading it wrong. Let me know. I'm open here for feedback. So, not mass production sabers, but yeah, see, he's also saying not mass production sabers in quotes. I also think mass production sabers doesn't really matter because you basically somebody else come with the idea, they make it, and then you take that idea as well because you're working on a parallel, we don't know, quote unquote, and then you bring it into a production model and then say, oh, hey, we made the production model, now everybody's using it, it's because of us. I don't know. There's truth to that, absolutely, but hey, so new Pixel Blades. Okay, 16 August 2016. The first saber with Neo Pixel Blade by Frederick Hubinet. So let me open that video, and we're gonna look at it. And we're gonna look at that, and I would show off my new so yeah, 16 August 2016. You see, we have tangible stuff. We have stuff here. We can actually see stuff. This is kind of proof that we need to define the history of all the lightsaber technology that we're looking at, because in a year of 10, history is being written by the victors, and then we don't know anymore what is true or not. So I hopefully this kind of video is gonna help in 10, 20 years from now to see who were the actual pioneers, who made the first NeoPixel blade setup. Now, allegedly, at the moment, the first person that has proof on video is Frederick, and we don't have anybody else. We don't have Vader's Vault with proof in 2016, with a YouTube timestamp, etc. That there was actually something going on there. They might have it, but we don't know. We only have this as the earliest date, so that's what I'm trying to say. So that's cool. 2016. That's a long time ago. Let's see what kind of comments I have. 1 year ago. Okay, there's not much beyond 1 year ago for some reason. So then see comment, Manu was playing with NeoPixels since they were first released. Okay, with pixels. Okay, so he also used it in his Tron disc prop. published in January 2015. Okay, so I think that is a little bit of a misconception here. So how I see this, um, yes. Oh fuck, I messed up. So yes, there was this person that put neopixels in a prop, but it wasn't a lightsaber prop. It was a prop, and that is a difference. I don't think we can count that. The why I say that, because that was specifically for something else, and I know that all these cosplayers etc. jumped on the Adafruit NeoPixel very early on to light up like hair effects or parts of their armor etc. That happened very early already, and to say that because one person that's also maybe made custom lightsabers, but he was making it in a another type of prop in January 2000. What was it, 2015? I don't think that is per se a lightsaber yet. So that is, I don't know. I wouldn't say. So let me see. Let me see if I can find this video because published 2015. I just want to see it, guys, because I'm pretty sure. Oh fuck! I say fuck a lot of times. Sorry, guys. That's impolite. Manu. Okay, so 4 years. So Earth Plactor in 2015. Okay, so okay, was Earth himself in 2015 already had a NeoPixel saber. So we have the first lightsaber video on YouTube in NeoPixel by the other guy in 2016. We have Earth having this Tron disc in 2015. So he might already had lightsabers as well, but didn't upload them. So again, now the ball's back to Earth for a bit. But I don't see anything, by the way. What's supposed to see then? I don't see any. Oh, what? Okay. So wrong video. Okay, so he made that. So now I just go to Adafruit a NeoPixel prop. I just do prop. I just go see, can I find oldest? I can find oldest. There must be videos on YouTube where people made 5 years ago. People work here 2013. People put NeoPixels on their shoes, etc. So people already playing with NeoPixels at least in 2013. At least 2013. And no way in hell there was nobody thinking about that when playing with those NeoPixels in 2013 or earlier to put it in a lightsaber. I'm pretty sure people were already playing with that. Here, the props 4 years ago with NeoPixel. So people were playing with NeoPixel for a very long time. Very long time. And most of it was open source. So, hey, what's up? So I don't know, guys. Vaderfall was probably involved with NeoPixel very early on as well, but there's no proof there. There's nothing that can be said, right? We don't know when it started, but I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people in the open source community, like we just saw on YouTube, that are already playing and tinkering and making props with NeoPixel long time ago. So 3:40 at 5 a.m. Oh, wow, that's morning. That's early. How you doing? Sorry for making videos early. So we can't do much with the claims here. Like Vader's Fall was working on it very early on. We know for a fact that anyway, the open source, the average Joe was already working with NeoPixel very early. So we don't know how early that can be and how early Vader's Fall was doing that, because we simply don't know. So we can't do anything with that information. So we can't say who was earlier. The graveyard shit. Oh shit. And then watching me. Nice. So yeah. So I mean, it's a bit of a there's people claiming some stuff in certain ways, or wording it, and I don't know how to feel about it. Demeter says Teensy Sabers popularized NeoPixels first because Plecter and NSC added NeoPixel support after Teensy Saber board, and that's true, guys. So even though they maybe were playing with NeoPixels, the first production board, even it's a production board, even though it's an open source board, it's a production board that can be produced for production, for mass produced putting in hilts, was here the Teensy Saber, and they had the NeoPixel support. And then you can argue that Plactor Labs and NSC also were working on it, but they were not the first. And that's exactly what Vadersfold said. Hey, we brought the first NeoPixel Saber to the market, and because of us, everybody else is making NeoPixel Sabers now. And that's, yeah. So it's like double standards. It's contradicting. People are contradicting themselves, and that is interesting. So again, and the Pogo connector was not only developed by you, but also by me and KR Sabers at the same time. Plector people only managed to bring it to the market first because you guys have more money, resource capability test and release quicker. Retro conning history again, and this is by Deanna from Vadersfold. So I think that's what I mean with the whole competition in the lightsaber community, and I love Vader's Vault. Don't get me wrong, I do like the products a lot, but the things how they word it, how they sometimes how some saber companies twist words, in a way that to make them look to be the first or whatever. In certain ways it's true, but there's definitely much more history to it than that, and it's just in a way because it's getting repeat over and over and over, and people like a certain brand and they stand behind it, and that's how history is being retconned into we were the first company that made it into a production, everybody is made it after us. Well, Teensy Saber were the first to actually make a production board, even though it was open source board, to have the NeoPixel support. So they first came with the idea and the confidence that NeoPixels as a production hilt would work on that production soundboard would work, and they stand behind it. They invested the time and money into making that feature available on that soundboard, and it came to the market by open source, of course. And Plector Labs and NAC, they just were later to the party. That's in that case the truth. That's just how it is. We can probably search that up. It's probably information that we can find readily on the internet. So it's a really gray area. The lightsabers is gray area because of Disney. Everything inside is a gray area, and it's a little bit of a dark place to delve into because you will find all kinds of stuff like twists and turns, and I know it's tough. There's a lot of competition. That's I say. Nope, Vader's Fault popularized NeoPixel. Okay, so Vader's Fault said. Deanna says no. We popularized NeoPixel. Um, you popularized NeoPixel, but NeoPixel was open source for a long time. Like if you talk NeoPixel, you mean NeoPixel blades, right? On particular on lightsabers, that's what she means. She doesn't mean NeoPixel in general because everybody in the prop community was already using NeoPixel. Now I say everybody, but a lot of people. I shouldn't say everybody, so otherwise I get smacked on the fingers for that. Um, we put them in thousands of hands since we launched them publicly. Okay, so but I mean, they're already the people were already working with them early on, but it wasn't like readily available for everybody. It was custom made one on one by certain sabersmiths that were working already with NeoPixel. It wasn't a production product yet, so there's nothing I can say against. The Pogo connector for NeoPixel was first developed by Slot so Evolution Arms. You were looking at it for a totally different purpose, and KR knocked it off. Yeah, KR apparently knocked it off or something. Call from KR Saber is actually banned from the vault. He got banned because of that, and they claim he stole and copied them. I don't know. We don't have proof, so I'm not going into that. The truth is the truth. Trying to retcon doesn't deserve as a completely. It does. It does a disservice to the complete community. Purpose doesn't matter. The connector design the connector design and functionality matters. I have proof on my post dates, and KR Savers have proof as if files create dates. Okay, so there's apparently dates that can potentially be used. Oh, if you want to split hairs, then credit should you be given to the custom saber shop who designed the same very what who designed the very same chassis and speaker connector 10 years ago. I didn't think you were ever in the hobby then, you see? Okay, so um, she gives this laughing face because she feels like we are a long time in the business, in this community. You're just come around the corner. A little bit diminishing, like, sorry, Deanna, I say that, but it comes across a bit like you uh, look down upon people that are not as long in the hobby as you are. At least in your comments, in this particular comments. And I know it's a very important factor for you guys because nobody likes stuff being stolen from them. Like, it's absolutely not done. If you have an original design, having something stolen of you, that's absolutely no go. So, and then Alan says that's bullshit. Okay. Um, Dimitri says, yeah, and where is it? It wasn't on the market, so it doesn't count. That's what Diana said. And because it was open source, apparently to her it doesn't count, right? It's showing in the comments, so it doesn't count because NeoPixel it wasn't mass produced. It was just the open source plaps. But we made it into a production product, and now because of us, everybody has NeoPixel. Um, so yeah, so it was like a little bit. I know I mean, I kind of like these kind of conversations between these guys because I know they care about each other. Like, they have like this hate love relationship. Um, and Dimitri, he loves discussions, as I say. Alan says KR knocked off the Plector designs when he didn't get the price he wanted for it, and he didn't want to be a team play he didn't develop shit. Okay, so yeah, I don't know about that. What's bullshit? He can provide you the proof he needs exactly. So now you're saying if it wasn't on the market, it doesn't count, right? So again, there's like this I mean, confliction between Vader's Vault. Um, Vader's Vault was the first to market with Plector Pixel. We were the first to market and produce the production for Pixel Blade Sabers. Okay, so wait. Now you're saying it wasn't on the market doesn't count, right? So he actually contradicts himself, Alan. He says, oh, because it wasn't on the market, it wasn't made into a production hilt, it doesn't exist. But now he also says, oh, because we made the NeoPixel lightsabers in production, and because we marketed it, yeah, so we were the first. Vader's Fall was the first. What? You just said it were because it's you guys just said it was on the open source already, so you were not the first.
Don't take away my trash.
I didn't take away your charts. So I don't know. These guys are a bit confusing me and contradicting each other. But I really feel like they don't really value the open source too much because as long as it's open source, it's not really considered being the first out there. But if they make it, they the first, and then it's done. It's basically saying that, oh yeah, we made it happen to get that in a production, and because of that, yeah, we were basically writing history. Read through the comments yourself in your own way and correct me, guys. Sounds like too much drama. People should be happy and willing to further the lightsaber hobby in the long to bring more people than finding who made what. Yeah, I agree. But as Deanna and Alan say, or especially Deanna, she's long in the hobby, right? More than 10 years. So she feels like she already she achieved a lot in the Saber community together with Plector Labs, and she feel like because of us, you have lightsabers with NeoPixel, etc., etc. In a certain way, not like in the food. I don't understand. We invented it, just like because of us, everybody in the market is using it now, and that is the claimant that I see between the lines here. Um, and then Alan says he can't provide shit for proof. I've got more proof that KR knocks off so much in this industry. It's not even funny. So again, this is more of a personal vendetta. It seems against KR Sabers or between KR Sabers and Vader's Vault. It seems like they're adding more stuff to the conversation that are not relevant to this particular NeoPixel thing meme. So there's definitely competition. Again, competition, fierce competition between the Saber companies. I just don't post it because it creates drama, but don't come in here and try to discredit other people's work by saying he developed anything. Okay, I'll leave that in the middle, guys. That seems on its own interesting information there. Excuse me. Dimitri says, I just show you the video of a custom-made NeoPixel blade before you made your Pixel blades. Yeah, so there's this video in 2016. Of course, Earth did it in a movie prop. So I don't know, did Earth actually ever put it in an actual lightsaber? He might very well have done that from the very first moment he actually got his hands on the Pixel, maybe in 2014 or in Jan 2015. From that, all that matter. But it took way longer to get it actually as a feature on the soundboard. So maybe he didn't feel comfortable using it for production models yet, or I don't know. Was it the cost of designing that into a production soundboard model? But why did it take Earth then so long? To get that in production, was it the testing? Was it not feeling comfortable with yet, or after the TNT board came out with that support for NeoPixel, they saw, okay, we need to do this as well. Now I'm having the confidence. We don't know, right? We can fill it out in any way we want. It's a blank check. We don't have it. We don't have it on paper. But we have that YouTube video of 2016 with the guy with the lightsaber ignited. So we have something there, but we don't have anything before that on a video, for example, or pictures or whatnot. That's great, but the technology was being worked on by Earth in freaking 2014-15. He made it into a Tron disc for prop, but we were working on it for Saber development back then. Yeah, again, we don't know. We can claim everything we want, but we don't have it. And then again, I'm pretty sure it's true, 100% true. But other people were working on it as well in the open source development, and maybe even way before that on lightsabers. So I don't know, guys. Again, does that mean much? I don't know. You okay if you tell so. But it wasn't on the market even if he did release the blade in 2016, correct? He was selling blades. Was he selling a finished product where people could buy and work out of the box with NeoPixel blade? I don't know. Is that gonna tell everything? Is that gonna dictate the technology on its own? It doesn't dictate it, right? I mean, it's a proven technology. People were making it and showing it. It doesn't mean because it's not production, it's not relevant. And that's a little bit the thing that I get out of here. Like I feel like Vader's Vault doesn't feel it's relevant because, hey, I'm live on Facebook as well. I feel like they don't feel it's relevant or matters as much because they the ones that bring it into production, and that's because it's made relevant then. So I don't know. I feel like that's an interesting thing on its own. But the principle is the same. Now you're splitting hairs and playing semantics. He's using his own electronics in that prompt because he was developing it for using it in sabers. Okay, so why? Okay, so he makes movie props for testing to develop it in lightsabers. Why you do it in different movie props and not just dedicated to develop it in lightsabers directly? Then I don't know. Maybe he was doing it, but he just didn't show that video. We don't know. The very first NeoPixel Saber blade I ever seen was made by Frederick for Teensy Saber. Did you make them before? Okay. What the hell does it matter? I never said that I was the first one to put it in the Saber. Okay, so that's okay. That's clear, right? We know that. What I said was they were the first one to put it and offer it a finished production on the market. So we were the ones responsible for getting the most NeoPixel sabers in the hand for consumers than anywhere else. Yeah, that's probably true. I don't know. I believe that Vaderful was the first one that got a lot of people get their hands on NeoPixel lightsabers in mass production, right? Um, that's true. Okay, now we're just arguing again based on your own facts. You know something that I don't know, and I know what you don't know. Okay, that made no sense. We're talking about the marketing and the popularization of a product, not the first one to show up on a YouTube video with something working isn't the same thing. Okay, okay. Um, Going back here for a second. So, where was it? Uh, where's that comment? Is there a comment gone? Um, is there a comment gone here? Did I just read a comment that's gone or no? I don't know. I thought there was a comment from Deanna there. I'm probably going crazy. Wait. Wasn't there comments from Deanna earlier? No, I don't know. Let's go read through. I want to get to the point, but okay. So the argue is production versus open source, and let's it's now established by Faithful. They're not the first, and they're not claiming it to be first, so that's fine. That's just a non-argument. So we're not going into that. Okay, no, okay, that makes no sense. We're talking about the marketing of popularization of lightsabers. You were trying to assert the fact that because Frederick showed a video of 2016 with his lightsaber, that mean it doesn't. He's the first ever to think of using it. Yeah, again, that's Vader's fault. They come with ideas, they think about it, because they think about it, they're the first. Or somebody's the first. Oh, I think if you put water in a car and you put it together with slime, then you maybe be able to drive super fast and then go time travel. See, I made this idea. I'm the first one come up with this idea. I had this idea today in 2019 or whatever, 16, blah, 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 whatever day it is. And then 5 years down the road, maybe somebody else comes with an idea and they make something out of it. They actually make something work and show it and say, oh, that's my idea. I had the idea 5 years ago. I don't know. I don't know if it counts, guys. Sorry, I don't know if that counts. I don't think that counts, honestly. But yeah, I mean, with a NeoPixel, think of using, and he was the first. So what? With a NeoPixel, that means he's the first to ever think of using it, and he was the first to ever develop anything based on it. Pretty much what you said. That's what I said. I never. That's what I said. I never said he was the first one to make a NeoPixel blades. Yeah. So I think Vader's World keeps on that. Oh, we're the first one with the production NeoPixel blades. It doesn't count what he did 2 years earlier with that prototype or that homemade NeoPixel saber. That doesn't count. What I said, I never said it was like I said, and then he highlights that. So, but yeah, that was just a custom saber, not mass production saber. Yeah, so that's what he said. That where we wrote thread. He also trying to tell everyone that care concurrently develop a pancake PCB connector, which is absolutely the furthest from the truth that ever could be considered. Okay, so then we're getting from the NeoPixel blades into the PCB connector suddenly. The discussion sways a bit, but I understand why Alan brings it up, because that was what Dimitri initially thought. Right, you asserted the fact that Neck and Plekter only picked it up because Frederick showed off a video. No, that's not true. Neck and Plekter Labs, they started working on a oh wait. Is this the soundboard, right? That was because Teensy Board already had it, and as you said, Neck and Plekter Labs was already working on the NeoPixel in early 2000 or in 2013. So Again, it wasn't in production models, so doesn't really count. No, it doesn't count. That's their words. That's Alan's and Deanna's words. Because it's not in production, it doesn't count. Sort of, sort of, right? Don't hate on me, guys. I know you're probably gonna watch this, and you're probably gonna be angry with me. But let me know. Um, to be honest, I never ever saw Frederick's video because I wasn't paying attention to the open source community at the time. Okay, so yeah, again, you're not paying attention to the open source community, which is fine, but don't expect other people in the whole entire world are also working on similar ideas. That's that's just how it goes. There's too many people in the world already, too many smart brains. Okay, I never saw anything from it from NEC and Plector Labs like this before because they probably were keeping it secret. That's why. Very good point. Again, the tensions between Saber companies, the fierce competition is real, guys. It's so real. Which is true. We don't put out things that we are working on behind the scenes. That's just not what you do when you're developing products. But we also don't steal ideas and products just because we don't publish the things we're doing behind the scenes. Doesn't mean we're stealing ideas. What do you mean? You're now saying that you were stealing ideas? What do you mean? The first lightsaber installs might be already with NeoPixel might be done by other people at the same time, but because you said you didn't pay attention to the open source industry or community, you didn't see that. But I honestly think this is just a misunderstanding, and people were working on it at the same time, which is normal with so many people in the world, and then you just have some overlap and people coming with similar stuff. It's gonna happen. Again, I keep saying it. It's lightsabers are cylindric tubes, and there's only so much things you can do with them, and people will end up with the same similar ideas. It's just gonna happen. You cannot claim all of that. Sorry. Deanna also, not that the Deanna video fall does that, by the way. Deanna also put NeoPixel in the blade in 2015. So not sure Frederick was the first to put one in the blade in any effect, and certainly had no bearing on our business. We were testing NeoPixel and DotStar after Manu had found it to been playing with it, and we decided as a group NeoPixel had potential to be the big next thing. But we did that. We were the first one to bring them to the market, and we the first one put them in thousands of people's hands. Okay, so it's a bit of a broken record here. We understand. We understand. It's just a claim to the first. It's just a race to the claim for the first in this industry. Who's the first? I claim it. Yeah. Anyway, the very first NeoPixel Blades video I saw was 2006 by Frederick, where I was shared many times in the Vault group. I clearly remember that. After that, Plector Pixel and NEC showed their first NeoPixel stuff only in 2017 to the public community. That's the information that's available to the public, because nobody knows what everybody may keep secrets for a long time. Yeah, so I found this post on FX Sabers, March 2016. Okay, so Deanna found another lightsaber video by somebody else that was earlier in 2016. Okay, cool. Okay, lightsaber. So this is definitely for lightsabers, right? This video by Andreas Kuhn. Okay, cool. So if you want to be technical, look like the guy did it in March 2016. Okay. So she's confusing me, because first he say, oh, it doesn't matter what a guy does on YouTube with these lightsaber stuff, and then she shows another video from another YouTube guy making another video, a lightsaber video with NeoPixel. So I don't know, do I read this wrong, or where's her comments? This is confusing. Sorry, guys. I'm reading this because I really want to know more about the actual history. Who makes this stuff? Like, who was the pioneer? Because I love lightsabers. I want to learn this. These guys giving a lot of information that we can learn from. And so you're trying to assert the fact that because Frederick showed up on a video in 2016 when NeoPixel is the first ever to think of using... Okay, so yeah, so it's basically saying because there was an earlier video of somebody with NeoPixel. He is not per se the inventor of NeoPixel. And now there's an earlier video of NeoPixel by somebody else. So yeah, Frederick was not the first. He might be inspired by this guy, or he might be inspired by somebody else, or he was already playing with NeoPix for a long time, like Vader's Vault and Plector Labs, and everybody was just working on it very early on for the same time, and nobody else actually yeah, from the pissing content. That's true. That's true. But I like to share this kind of stuff sometimes because there's so much drama in the lightsaber community. There's so much drama, from compared to any hobby I'm in. There's so much drama in this particular one, and it's just interesting to see. I think it's really fueled by Saber companies and their offspring or their followers that dictate certain things in the Saber community. Who's wrong, who's right, etc., and who was the first and that kind of stuff. So it's a really slippery slope, basically. So okay, we have a video that's earlier now. So we now have a NeoPixel lightsaber in 2000, March 2016. So we have somebody that actually show us proof. So that person is now the lead is now showing like the something tangible. So if you want to be okay to this point, the point is none of that popularized it. Nowadays, did I say we were the first? Nowhere did I say the first one to beat NeoPixel Blade. No, you said that first. Yeah, you already said many times to popularize it to bring it to market as a household name, something that everyone's in their sabers. I have no problem giving credit to those who came before me. Something you should try. Ooh, I have no problem giving a credit either to those who really did something first. You're hopeless. Okay, so it doesn't fall in line with her her trained thoughts or her opinions. So that's why he is hopeless. Again, it's competition, guys. They're poking fun probably. Earth used NeoPixel strips in the Tron disc back in 2015, but it was controlled not by a soundboard, by a separate NeoPixel controller and a CF soundboard for sound and effects triggers. Then the first complete soundboard with NeoPixel blade support was that's the DIY I know March 2016, right? Then the Teensy Saber by Frederick. Okay, so the Teensy Saber was after the one from DIY No, whatever that one is. And then NeoPixel in 2007. So, okay, so we have dates. Great, now you can have to admit that Vader's Vault was the first to bring him to production. Oh my god. That's the only arguments he comes with. I'm sorry, but the only thing Vader's Vault is telling they were the first to bring it to the market as a product model, so that's it. That's the end of the discussion, apparently. I agree to this statement. I never said Vader's will make them the first mass production blades. Didn't make the first production blades. Woo! Interesting story. It's going on and on and on. These guys love to discuss stuff. It's so funny. Except you said everyone said that one place and arguing in order. You may having trouble making up your mind. No, the comment here is to under the same topic. Scroll up. Okay, blah blah blah. Popularize. Make something technical, scientific, or academic accessible or interesting to the general public by presenting it readily understandable form. Okay, sorry, but that was then the Teensy board, right? Or the DIY Ono board that was already popularize it. So again, it's not Vader's fault. It's not Vader's fault. If you look at the soundboard capabilities and bringing that as a product to the market for people to install NeoPixel, etc., as a production model, was already there in early March 2016. How I see it, right? This is how I see it. But again, I mean, it's an interesting topic nonetheless. Blah blah blah. In my mind, I read. I almost finished reading, guys. I'm almost done with it, and you guys can maybe bored hell from it. Setter Lau says Dimitri Stock, Indiana Johnson both so great work and work with creative minds. All sides are always working diligently in public and behind the scenes. Yeah, so at the same time to make awesome new innovative saber tech. I'm happy to have both of you in the community as you service different type of consumers. There's equally more sabers in the hand of me. Yeah, so that's also true. Different types of industry, different types of mindsets. Like some people just make sabers on one. It still can be considered production sabers, but not a massive amount of people get the sabers in hand with NeoPixel. Where Vader's World think we bring the masses in contact with NeoPixels, so that's why we are this and that. For example, um, okay, so this is, believe it or not, we are friends too. Lol. Okay, so it's interesting. Okay, and then there's just some random chit chat. So again, I'm gonna end the live stream very short. I'm got battery is running out. Oh shit. Let me just fix the chat here. I think in general it's a very interesting thing. So I hope you guys had a little bit of a more in-depth information about how people perceive the history of NeoPixels and who made what first, and what makes what first. I think bringing something into production to a lot of people in the hands is definitely very important, because I mean, if it's something that nobody else has or own or can own, then it definitely exists, and but nobody can have access to it, and then yeah, it has a certain value to it to be able to actually get your hands on that stuff. But to at the same time, there are other people that actually were designing that. They were the intellectual designers of that. It was their property. Some of it went to open source. Some of it were just ideas of individuals. Some companies were very late to the party, and we all can claim that we had an idea in our mind, but I mean, there's nothing that you can do with that. Like if somebody makes that idea that you have into something, they gonna be the first. They bring it into a real tangible thing as the first, and it doesn't really make. I mean, yeah, they were the first. So. A lightsaber soundboard specifically with the NeoPixel support was done first by the open source, and then it was on the market, right? Everybody can buy. That's by definition already a production product. You can produce it, you can sell it in the mass, and that's what also did happen with Teensy Board, etc. So, and then these other close companies come out with their own variant of it. Two years later, took them 4 or 5 years to develop NeoPixel for lightsabers. Well, the open source did it in half the time. And of course, the popularization of NeoPixel is contributed by Vader's Vault, because Vader's Vault is a renowned company in the saber industry. A lot of people look forward and towards them, and they buy their products. And they brought NeoPixel lightsaber technology to the market when it already was on the market for a couple of years, of course. But they brought it as a company that makes lightsabers, that as a production to the market. So that is different, but I still think not everybody is on the NeoPixel bandwagon. Vader's Saberforce Ultra Sabers in due time probably maybe gonna get into that space as well, and then I'm very interested to see how that's gonna work, because then we have another discussion like this probably on the forums. I'm getting fat. Jesus Christ, I need to do something about that. So anyway, guys, what you take out of this? Like, what is your opinion about this, and who you think was first in what regard, and what does matter? Does production matters? Does the idea, the creative matters? Do you have any further proof? You found some information that you want to share? Because it's really important to give credit to these people that actually came with the NeoPixel technology, that actually brought it to us in lightsabers, right? So we need to be grateful for that and thankful. And the same with the relationship from Plector Labs and Vader's Vault, and their features that they brought to the market many years ago, like for example RGB color changing and whatnot. Like all that stuff, like as long as we have proof and it can be well proven, is documented on forums, on videos, on YouTube videos and whatnot, where we actually can see stuff who made it first, we can give credit to those people. And I think that's important because I mean, it's a beloved hobby, and they do a lot of good things for us. And yeah, we definitely have to give praise where praise is due, and definitely respect that. And so yeah, and we have to do that. We have to establish it as fast and early as possible where it can, because after 10, 20 years, history is being rewritten by different people and nobody can really know it for sure anymore. It happens a lot with a lot of different things, like I made this model for this movie, no I did, or I only did this part or that part. um, a little bit like David Pross. We don't want to get a David Pross scenario. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I see you next time. Take care.